and welcome to Trigger Point Research Setups. Today we're going to talk about Ann Taylor stores, and we're going to talk about it in respect to the potential for a bounce. Now, there's different types of things that happen with stocks, as you know. There's breaking down, there's breaking up, and potentially there's also bounce setups. Basically, when they hit support or they hit resistance and they bounce off of that and then reverse. And when you take a look at this one, for example, you look at what's going on here. This is a daily chart of Ann Taylor stores, and what you're seeing here is that basically in the area of about 32.95, about 33 we'll call it, there was a decent amount of support there. A new altimeter that we call it, the three lines that you're seeing in front of you, were drawn, and what you found was that there was a nice bounce from there. Ann Taylor had been in a significant downtrend that you can see here, and then it just kind of moved back higher on that. Now, you've seen this before. You've seen when you hit support on a few times and you kind of start building that support, and then all of a sudden it breaks higher. Stock has a habit of doing this kind of maneuver, and in fact, if we look at this and kind of zoom out, you can see that it has happened very often with a level of movement to the upside and a projected move, and then it does start to taper off, particularly when it hits support and then reverses at any given time. Now, one of the things we want to look at here is also what is the potential for the continuation of upside, or is there a continuation of the downside with this circumstance. So, for example, let's go to the end here and take a look. We added a little bit more detail and granularity to the range of the market profile to see what's happening. Now, here's what I want you to look at and what I want you to focus on, what you really can't see on a basic chart. And what you can't see on a basic chart is that there is a region that is inside of about $36 down to about $34.50. And we can kind of go backwards a bit and see that really there is these open regions where there's really not a lot of resistance that is showing through. Now, if we continue on with this idea that, okay, we see that there is very little resistance on the upside here, where is the potential for this thing to continue? So now let's then look at the range, again, inside of the 34.5 to 36 range. $1.50, not bad, about a 5-6% potential move here. But essentially what we could see is that there is this level, interestingly enough, right about just under 35 that is in fact showing a resistance point, and then when you start moving up from there, what you have is the potential for additional movement higher, because really the next stop you get is somewhere about 35.50 to 35.75. And that point when you get there is where you're going to have to consider, okay, is the continuation going to move on from here, or is there going to be some kind of a potential movement that is going to be necessarily bounced off of to the downside? Now, we do look at short interest, for example, and Ann Taylor has about a 12% short interest of float, about 5.5 days to cover. And in addition to that, you have earnings coming out in November sometime, about the 22nd, on this particular stock. So we do see that there is limited area, and again, I wanted to show you this because I think it's important. If you look at, for example, the profile that we have built here, we call it the radar, there is a very thick region that it did surpass, and now what's happening is that it is moving beyond that into a very thin area, fast zone. So the potential for this is for a continuation of it, and especially if it gets above that key measure that we talked about. And if it does, that could be a place to consider moving in. If it does get above the line of about 35.75, the potential for a quick move up to about 34.75, excuse me, up to about 36 is very real. Well, you can check out these and all the other things we talk about on Trigger Point Research. Get a 14-day free trial and see what's happening there very easily. And we hope to see you again soon. Thanks.